When you know that you are queer, but your favorite drink is beer, that's gayish. You can bottom without stopping, but you can't stand going shopping, that's gayish. Oh, gayish, you're probably gayish. Well, life's just too short for narrow stereotypes, so it's gayish. We're also gayish. It's Gayish with Mike and Kyle.
Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish,
the Cybertruck of podcasts.
Oh, we're going with that, are we?
It's too late. It already happened.
Oh, Kyle. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz.
We're here to bridge the gap between sexuality and actuality, and today
we're going to talk about Blacksmiths.
We're going to talk about Blacksmiths, and it's my fault. You're welcome.
And it's your doing. We'll talk more about that in a minute.
We will definitely talk more about that. But first, the episode almost didn't happen this week because I have been on my deathbed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to try to bring my A game, but my A game is maybe a C+ game at best. So everyone can wish me luck or something. I don't know. Hopefully by the time this actually comes out, I'll be fine.
Okay. That's the dream. How are you feeling right now?
Okay.
Okay. You know what? This can be an okay episode. Let's aim for that.
I can aim for okay.
Yeah.
I think that's just pretty much
the usual.
All I can expect for a Tuesday, you know?
Yeah.
Like
we got this.
Okay, great. Let's see. But first, feedback and corrections. We got one that I want to read just because it says nice things about us. Hi, Mike and Kyle. You bitched about wanting more feedback and corrections. Well, here comes an angry correction for you, Mike. Grr. You mentioned Sergei Diaghilev in the last episode, interior designers, and said he was a dance teacher. Diaghilev was an impresario and actually didn't practice dance at all. He was on the business side of things and is most famous for creating and managing the ballets russes, which revolutionized Western dance. But you were certainly right in saying he loved his boys and fucked them to stardom. The most famous of those being Vaslav Nijinsky. Anyways, love you guys and your work. I've been a listener since 2020 and can't get enough. Keep up the good work and take care of each other and yourselves. Much love, Leroy Boone. Thanks, Leroy.
Thanks.
If that's as angry gets, then I think we're doing okay.
Yeah. That was not. I liked the grr to make it angry. That was great.
Yep, exactly. Okay, great. Are we at the news part?
We could be if you took us there.
Great. Now the news.
Shut your mouth hole. It's time for your ear holes. News.
News the first. Carla Sofia Gascon's performance in Emilia Perez has made her the first out trans woman to be nominated for a lead actress in a film at the Golden Globes. Nice. Have you seen Emilia Perez?
I heard about it because I heard that Selena Gomez was nominated for something for it.
Oh.
So
okay.
I only just heard about it today.
Oh, well. In the film, Gascon plays the title character, a Mexican drug lord who comes out as trans and transitions. Her nomination sits in the musical or comedy category. There's a separate category for dramatic films. She's nominated beside Cynthia Erivo from I just said it with a Spanish accent. She's nominated with Cynthia Erivo from Wicked, Amy Adams from Night Bitch, Mikey Madison from Anora, Demi Moore from The Substance, and Zendaya from Challengers. She is also considered an Oscar frontrunner, and she and her co-stars, Selena Gomez, Adriana Paz, and Zoe Saldana, already won the Best Actress Award at the Cannes Film Festival.
Oh.
Selena Gomez and Saldana have both received nominations for Best Supporting Actress for their work in the film. She said, quote, I think that at the end, I only represent myself. I have a lot of responsibility because a lot of people, maybe they need that representation from me. And I take this with my whole full heart to help the minority that I represent. But I think it's not only trans people, she continued. I think there's a lot of people in this world that need freedom. They need to live in a world in peace with the respect for each other. And I think that is the most important.
That's very important. That's so true.
Yeah. If she wins, she'll become the first trans person to win a Golden Globe for acting in a film. Michaela J. Rodriguez became the first trans actress to win a Golden Globe in 2022 for her role in the groundbreaking television series Pose. The Golden Globes will be handed out January 5th.
Nice.
Do we need to see it? I guess we need to see it.
I guess so. Do you want to go together sometime?
Sure. I haven't seen Wicked yet either.
I haven't seen Wicked yet either.
Oh, but you don't plan to, do you?
but I don't care. I mean, if a bunch of people went, I would go along with them, but I'm not going to like make plans myself to go.
Yeah. Okay. This is hot off the presses, Kyle.
Ooh, okay.
If we had done this on Sunday, well, maybe I could be wrong. I don't know. Anyway, news the second.
Great.
Luigi Mangione.
Oh God. Yeah.
Allegedly assassinating UHC CEO Brian Thompson. First is, he's a murderer. That can be true.
Yeah.
He's also smoking hot.
Yeah.
And
unfortunately,
his
his shirtless pics were released, and now everyone's lusting over him.
Yep. The 26-year-old was detained and identified as a person of interest in the murder case on Monday. And when the news hit social media, the gay internet was immediately obsessed. The only thing that could make him more up the gay's alley is if he were actually queer himself. And a couple of posts say that could be true.
What?
Yeah. So the 34th Street Magazine, a culture magazine at the University of Pennsylvania, where Mangione was a student, shared a message claiming that while at school, he made out with a male person. For those curious, he is bi. #equal opportunity. Another user on X named Brandon claimed to have hooked up with Mangione years ago. He was great in bed, they added, throwing more fuel on the thirsty fire. Here's what I want to talk about, though, Kyle.
Okay.
I don't give a good goddamn if he's bi or not. I mean, I do. I a little bit care.
I care. I want to know everyone's sexuality all the time.
Like we should just force it to be tattooed on people.
Okay, maybe not that.
Okay.
But I'm always curious. Stay curious.
I can't get over the feeling that, like, I don't know, people seem to be dancing around the very real desire to say that man deserved to die. That as the CEO of one of the most notorious and evil insurance companies, denying and delaying and deposing people on their claims, hoping that they don't have to pay out for medical care, has directly led to thousands and thousands of people dying innocently over money. Now, do I think that should lead to getting gunned down in the middle of the street in New York City? Maybe.
Huh. That's not what I thought you were going to say, but here we are.
But here we are. Like, I think, I don't know, man. I think that there's, I don't know. What do you think? How do you feel about the whole thing?
Here's what I've come to accept about, especially like when people I hate die just of natural causes. Like I don't want anyone to die. And there are certain people who I'm going to mourn over and certain people I'm not going to. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want him to die. I wasn't hoping for his death. I wasn't praying that someone would go around and murder him, mostly because praying doesn't work. But I'm not going to be sad that he's dead now. Like, I'm not going to go build a little memorial to him in my closet and say tearful goodbyes to it.
Can you imagine? That would be so weird if you did that.
That would be very weird if I did that. You don't want to know whose memorials I have in my closet. Those are just
I do
for
now.
me.
I very much do now, and I'm sure so do some listeners.
Nope.
No,
those are mine.
For you.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm just not going to be sad over his death, I think, is where I've landed.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know.
Do certain people deserve to die in this world? Like, I don't know. How evil do you have to be? What's the level of evil you have to rise to deserve someone to shoot you in the street?
I mean, literally writing people off to die in order to make a buck. That seems morally indefensible to me. Now, does that vigilantism that's the thing, right? Extrajudicial assassination is something that I don't condone because it's right there in the name. It's extrajudicial, like justice needs to be served.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody's in denial of the facts that United Healthcare is a giant health insurance company that makes billions and billions of dollars on people's health, and more importantly, the lack thereof. And I don't We should move on, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
It's so fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Will this change anything? Probably not. Maybe that hot boy will take a dick in prison and we'll all get to watch.
That's the best we can hope for. That's the best outcome from all of this. Nothing's going to change. Nothing ever changes.
Nothing ever changes. And in fact, sometimes it gets worse. See you in January. Okay, news the last.
Yeah.
Darlington Mayor Curtis Boyd used the F word during the public comment portion of Tuesday's city council meeting. Now, I actually love this story. So he has been accused of being ineligible to be the mayor of Darlington because he doesn't live inside the city limits of Darlington, which seems like you should maybe live in the town you're a mayor of. This is in South Carolina, by the way, Darlington, South Carolina. So at a city council meeting, he was confronted by this man during the open public comment portion. And he says, you know, you don't live within the city limits. You shouldn't be able to be mayor. And he says, there's some crosstalk, so it's hard to pick out. But he says, quote, well, you're welcome to leave with me tonight. And if you want, you can sleep in my bed butt naked with me. You're welcome to sleep in the bed with me. Basically saying, like, my house is inside the city limits. I'm happy to take you there and we can sleep naked.
What a weird way to say that.
What a weird way to say that. And so then the person says, I'm not gay. I'm not a faggot. And I'm not a homosexual. And the mayor says, I'm not a faggot either, but you're more than welcome to come see where I stay. Now,
what a weird exchange.
What a weird exchange. It actually gets slightly weirder because then later when he was asked about it, he claimed to not know what the F word means. He said, quote,
okay, okay, come on. What a dumb defense.
He said, quote, the F word means that you're referring to, it means a bundle of sticks.
Sure.
And he said he was not that. And I said, I'm not that either. Whatever it is, I looked it up and it means a bundle of sticks if you look at the dictionary.
Oh my God. What an asinine argument.
I can't. And like, okay, why come sleep with me naked? That was a weird thing to say. And then why respond to that with like, I'm not a faggot in front of all of these people. And then to respond with, I'm not a faggot either, clearly understanding what was being said. And then later deny that you know what that word means. You're from South Carolina. You know what that word means.
Yeah. What's the point? Why are we playing this game? We now live in this world where you can just be like, I didn't say that. And people will be like, yes, you did. We have it written down. We have you on video. And you just be like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Like you can just say anything you want because nothing means anything.
Nothing means anything, Kyle. That's the news.
Well, speaking of nothing means anything, we do not have any new Patreon members this week.
Just in time for Christmas, you Scrooges.
So if you want to support our show, support independent LGBT media, which is what we are, and get ad-free episodes a day early and get bonus episodes and segments and use Mike's Hole. Lots of great benefits that you can get by signing up at patreon.com/Gayish podcast.
Yeah, do it.
Okay. So first thing.
Yeah.
Well, you won in the poll.
I won the poll. So once a month on Patreon, we post a poll. And whoever won the month before chooses one topic, and whoever lost chooses two topics. And then we send it to our gap bridgers who vote. There's a separate tiebreaker vote in case they tie it up. And that's what episode we do once a month.
Yeah.
And I chose blacksmiths and carpenters.
Lots of people wanted blacksmiths. People didn't really want carpenters.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it wasn't zero. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I'm just proud to not have a goose egg.
Okay.
You know?
You got to take the wins where you can sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
But why did you choose to submit blacksmiths?
Yeah, because Gendry is hot.
I don't know what that means.
I know you don't. And he is Robert Baratheon's bastard son who works in a blacksmith in King's Landing in Game of Thrones.
Oh, I've seen all of Game of Thrones. I just don't remember the names of anyone.
Oh, you did see all of it?
Mm-hmm. I watched all of it during COVID.
Oh, congratulations, Kyle.
Yeah, thanks.
Welcome to the 90s.
Yeah, I got caught up to the rest of the world.
But that boy's hot.
Oh.
I'm mostly kidding. I'm not kidding about the hot part. That boy is hot. But I do think it's worth talking about the fact that there is something to me, and I don't know where it comes from. Maybe we can explore this together, Kyle. There's something homoerotic intrinsically about blacksmiths and blacksmithing. There's something about they're all sweaty, and because they swing a hammer around, they're like kind of built, and they're like rugged and masculine, and like there's something hot about them.
Mm-hmm. You're not the only one that thinks that. We'll get to that throughout the episode, but you're not the only one to think that.
Well, I wanted to pick that apart and see why that is, because it doesn't make sense. Like, more than fishermen, I don't give a fuck about fishermen, but they're tough sons of bitches too. Maybe it's the stinky part. I don't know. I don't give a fuck actually about carpenters. I don't know why I put carpenters on the list. I was really hoping that blacksmiths would win. Like, there are a lot of quote unquote masculine occupations that don't have the same sort of make my gooch tingle as a blacksmith. And I just wanted to pick that apart.
Brian commented on Patreon, blacksmiths are freaking hot, especially when they bend over nailing a shoe on your horse.
Okay, well.
So that's a specific Instagram kind of world you can get into, is people putting shoes on horses.
Getting nailed.
Well, horses getting nailed. Yep.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I won the tiebreaker poll for pilots, so that's going to be the bonus episode this month, is episode about pilots.
Yep, absolutely. Look forward to that, everybody.
Yeah.
Assuming I live that long. Okay, so the history of blacksmiths. Blah. Okay, great. I'm still me. A blacksmith is a specific kind of metalsmith. So all blacksmiths are metalsmiths, but not all metalsmiths are blacksmiths. And what they do is work with metal to make gates, grills, railings, light fixtures, furniture. Used to be things like nails. Sometimes like wrought iron, like decorations on stuff, cooking utensils, and the favorite thing that people seem to want to get into blacksmithing to do,
axes
and swords, weapons. Yeah. Knives. Everybody wants to know how to make a knife. And like on day one of blacksmithing class, they're always like, if that's why you're here, you should go home now. And then like 3/4 of the class leaves. So blacksmithing is heavy work, though. It is juxtaposed with the more delicate operations of a white smith, who usually, why's you got to be white? Who usually works in gold or silver or pewter, and those are like more malleable metals and use like more intricate, delicate designs, things that you make. And this whole thing about like the homoerotic blacksmith. Mm-hmm. is really old. Like, I think it goes back to the Greeks at least, if not before that, because of Hephaestion, who was the god of the forge, and all of the like statues of Hephaestion are jacked. Like, he's described as jacked in the religious texts that survive. All of the like. He's jacked, and I think maybe that's where some of this comes from.
Is anytime any dude is kind of jacked, all the gays just want him to be gay. Like, if you don't have to have any other qualities, sometimes we're so superficial, and I mean, hate that.
You can commit murder if you want to, if you got abs.
You can, yep.
Luigi, call me. No, but. So Hephaestus. Oh, I wanted to talk about ideal body type. Like the ideal body type of men has changed over time, right? Like there was a long time when like big penises were seen to be brutish and a sign of low breeding, and smaller penises were more preferred, and that's why there are a lot of statues who have modest endowment. There's also the like amount of definition to the body that has fluctuated over time. One of the most repeated examples that isn't necessarily totally true. Don't, just there's asterisk here, everybody, and I get it. But the idea that like at one time to be fat was super attractive because it meant that you had money, that you could eat extra food to be fat. And that turned into like people like the cushion for the pushing as an ideal body type because of that phenomenon.
It's weird how like you just assume that the way like what is attractive stays the same, but like what is considered attractive is not set in stone. It is societally shaped and forged.
Absolutely, and we can even see that in a much smaller scale. But like, I remember the '90s. Do you remember the '90s, Kyle?
Some of them.
Everyone was clean shaven. You could you couldn't really make it in a public facing on camera type of a role and have facial. There were exceptions. Asterisk. Don't at me. But like everybody in the '90s, all the dudes in the '90s were like dolphins. They like no facial hair, no body hair. And that has definitely changed, especially in the last, I would say, 10 years or so. And that's a good thing because that's not what men's bodies look like. Anyway, I don't have much more to say about that. I think that there's this really cool painting by Perry Baudon.
Ooh la la!
I think I nailed that. Called Athena. And it's where Hephaestus and Athena, he's like trying to get busy with her. And she's like, no, get your hand off of me. And he's wearing an apron, a smith's apron, but nothing on underneath of it. And you can see his booty and his back is like all ripped. And but that was painted in the 1550s. I think that the association between muscle and musculature and blacksmithing is timeless. And I do think that there's something about the virility of that is appealing to gay men, probably women also, but certainly to gay men. Even at times when body types have changed, I think that there's still room for muscle.
Yeah. Yeah. Muscle is always hot, no matter when.
But yeah, I guess that's it. You have some definitions for us?
Then I'm going to tell you some Urban Dictionary definitions that contain blacksmith.
Great.
This first one is just the word blacksmith on its own, and it is a professional player, someone who has so many irons in the fire, aka bitches, that they might as well be a blacksmith.
Great. Sure.
Which I've never heard. I've never heard any of these terms, so take these all with a grain of salt.
I mean, it's Urban Dictionary.
But there's some like with thousands of thumbs up, and these are not those. Let's see. Blacksmith hands is when a guy has very rough, calloused hands, usually as a result of years of wear on the hands. That makes sense. Someone who is rough, calloused hands. Is that hot? Because then they work with their hands.
I associate it with weightlifting. That like if you work out, you get those calluses. Like if you're using heavy weight anyway, especially doing anything that requires hanging or like deadlifts especially will fuck your hands up. But yeah, that's what I associate it with. And dudes who lift weights are hot. Yeah,
for sure. Back to the muscles. All we care about is muscles.
And dicks. In the immortal words of Kathy Griffin, gays care about dicks and abs.
Did she say that?
Big dicks and abs. Yeah. She was telling her assistant, he was like going to go open for her or make an announcement for her. I don't know. Anyway, she was yelling at him like, go out there. Like, they don't care about you. They don't care what you look like. They care about big dicks and abs.
So true. The phrase that I will define next is his dad was a blacksmith. And that is someone who doesn't know their father. The example is person 1, his dad was a blacksmith. Person 2, Josh's dad never made objects from metal in a forge. Person 1, well, on the day he was born, he made a bolt for the door.
Oh, no. Kyle, I'm sick. Don't start being funny now.
Well, it wasn't even me being funny. It was this other person on Urban Dictionary. Another definition, blacksmith's apron.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the affliction when a person's gut hangs out over their belt so much so it covers their genitals in the style of an apron.
Okay. I mean, I know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
It's see also Dunlapped.
What?
Yeah, he Dunlapped over his jeans.
Oh. There's blacksmith's goatee. When you pour gasoline on your pubes and light them on fire.
What?
Please don't do that. That smell's got to be horrendous.
Blacksmith's goatee. What does that have to do with facial hair? I'm so confused. I genuinely want to know. Like, I wish I could talk to that person.
Like, a goatee is like cut down, like narrowed down, and I think this is like trimmed down to just the set fire and it burns away most of the hair.
Okay, all right.
So you're left with just like a goatee like shape.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Next is Brazilian blacksmith, and that is a moment in intercourse in which two people's genital piercings become caught on each other.
Oh no. Brazilians are hot. So when you said Brazilian blacksmith, my mind started wandering, and
that phrase sounds hotter than the description felt. Yeah. I feel like that's probably been an episode of Grey's Anatomy at some point.
Oh yeah, that's totally okay. Is this your fault? Instagram really wants me to watch clips of Grey's Anatomy on my reels now.
Oh, how would it know that you know someone that watches Grey's Anatomy a bunch?
I don't know, Kyle. This is your industry.
I don't think it knows that. I think they're just really heavily marketing it.
Okay. Well, it like a lot. Like out of the, like, there's probably like 6 or 8 at a time. At least one is going to be fucking Grey's Anatomy now. I did make the mistake of watching one. So,
maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Maybe they know. Let's see. There's blacksmith tomahawk, and that is the art, nay, the skill of jumping off the bedpost and landing directly in a woman's vagina, penis first.
Oh my God.
The girl is usually in either the spread eagle or Cincinnati bow tie, thus creating a blacksmith's iron table for the male to strike from above.
Yeah, consent, everybody. Let's work on consent for these kinds of things, please.
And the girl is in spread eagle or Cincinnati bow tie. I didn't know what a Cincinnati bow tie is, so I looked that up, and that's when you titty fuck someone backwards. So your balls are on their neck, and it looks like a bow tie.
Great. How would you go from that to leaping into her vagina?
She is. I think you might be leaping into her boobs in that case. Okay.
Either way, it sounds logistically challenging and probably, one that you check off and move on from.
Highly improbable. There could be Olympic teams dedicated to just trying to jump penis first into a vagina and score.
Yeah.
That's got to be painful. When you miss, don't actually do this.
Yeah, it seems bad. Yeah.
And the last one is blacksmith's round table.
Oh no.
Men handling their hammers surrounding each other. In other words, a circle jerk.
Okay, that's exactly where I thought it was going. So
this one you could actually predict.
Yeah.
There were twice as many definitions for words that have the word blacksmith in them. Why are there so many Urban Dictionary words with blacksmith in them? And they're kind of dirty.
Yeah. Okay, so it could just be because blacksmiths have been around for so long. Like, there's a lot of things that I think that it might have existed that then went away completely, or, are modern creations. So there's no build up. There's no foundation there. But blacksmiths, it's like one of the oldest known crafts, and still is around. Like, blacksmiths still, like, there are hobbyists, like some lesbos I'm going to talk about later. But there's also that make horseshoes and, still doing fencing. Like, there's still blacksmiths around. And what I was going to talk about is just that Johann Scotus Erugena, I don't know how to say that name, talked about the 7 mechanical arts. And this was in the 9th century. And so many of them are still around, but it was like the manly work that's considered like labor, and it's tailoring or weaving, farming, bricklaying, warfare, trading, mercantile, cooking, and blacksmithing. And
Cooking, huh?
yeah, those are the 7 things that are like ancient dudes have been doing them for a long time.
That's really funny how cooking has evolved to be a stereotyped as a woman's task.
Yeah. Ah, well, can't win them all.
Yeah. Shit changes. I wonder if it's because like you said, there's something sexual about blacksmiths. We have they're literally hot. They're
literally hot. You're literally using literally correctly.
Thank you. I pride myself on caring about the word literally. I know it also means figuratively these days, but I'm stuck on literally meaning literally.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we have a fascination with blacksmiths that I don't quite understand.
Yeah. It's all about the size of the hammer, Kyle. Well, you did some Urban Dictionary definitions, so I'm going to do some blacksmithing power vocab. Okay. So these are vocabulary words from the world of blacksmithing that I thought sounded hilarious, and I want you to help me figure out what the gay version is.
Okay.
Or tell me what you think that it means, and then or could mean. I don't know. These words are funny, Kyle. That's as far as I got with this bit. I'm sick. Don't hassle me. Okay, so some of these you might already actually know in a blacksmithing context, like smelt.
I've heard that word. I don't know what it means.
Smelt is heating and melting ore to extract metals. So you've got a rock and it has like something valuable metal in it. So you heat it up until it comes out. And you smelt it.
Maybe the gay version could be sexually melt.
Yeah.
Like I looked into his eyes and I started smelting.
Yep. Yes, I agree.
And then I let him go down on me.
Yes, perfect. No notes. I hope I get smelted later. How about annealing? Annealing.
I was annealing earlier.
Yeah.
I was annealing when I received my gift.
Yeah. You were smelting, and that led to annealing.
Yep. What's it really?
It's heating metal and allowing it to cool slowly, and it makes metal softer and therefore easier to work with. Prevents cracking and other issues when working the metal.
Unlike penises, the softer it is, the easier it is to work with.
Yeah. Yep. How about Coke?
I mean, it's either something I drank or did a line of, and I won't tell you which.
Right. Maybe both. You could.
Maybe both.
Yeah. In the blacksmithing world, it's a gray, hard, porous, coal-based fuel that has a high carbon content, and it's used for steel and other kinds of metal refinement. Okay. How about the fuller?
That sounds like, like I'm Kyle the Fuller. That's someone who's gotten jizzed in a whole bunch.
Okay.
Because they're fuller. They're
You're
more
fuller
full
than you used to be.
Yeah. It's like a cum dump.
Yeah. Well, it's a rounded tool similar to a hammer that sinks easily into heated metal and thereby works metal faster than a hammer could. You're faster than a hammer, Kyle.
I don't want to be known as that.
How about hot rasping?
That's when after sex, you smoke a cigarette together. Because then your voice gets all like this. Was it good for you, honey?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you can cause some like damage to the trachea if you're annealing correctly. It's the use of a coarse file on hot metal, which is usually heated to a dull red. And it's common in blacksmithing, but quickly wears down your files. So you don't want to do it very often, which I get that. Protect your throat.
Every 10,000 miles.
Let's see. 2 more, and then we can move on. How about the hardy hole?
That's the hardy hole, the Hardy Boys holes.
It's plural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or Tom Hardy, right?
Oh, I'd like to see his hole.
Yeah. Or he owns your hole, so now it's the Hardy hole.
Own my hole.
It's the square hole in the top of the anvil.
I'm sorry. Square hole. Okay, I was like, holes can't be, but then I was thinking circles.
Are you
Don't
okay?
worry about it. Okay. Yeah, no. Always no.
How about cross peening?
Oh, that's when two people are peeing at the same time and they let their streams cross.
Yeah. Or a good sword fight, I think, is cross peening.
Yeah.
Apparently, have you heard of a ball peen hammer?
Oh, I didn't know
Derek
it was pronounced like that.
Peen is a blacksmithing term for round hammer things. And cross peening is when you strike the surface of metal at an angle with a cross peen hammer, create small divots or indentations across its surface rather than just flattening it out like during planishing. And it gives rise to interesting patterns. Last one, and I'm sure it's your favorite, the pickle.
Ugh. That's just something that's disgusting and everyone pretends to like, but no one actually likes.
Here's the question, Kyle. What if it totally is the Hardy hole, but you have to let him call it the pickle?
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You can do that. That's fine.
Okay, great. Taking the pickle in the Hardy hole. It's a mixture of water and acid or alkali that's used to remove oxides from metal. Vinegar, citric acid, sulfuric acid are all examples of pickles. These are just some that I chose. It's interesting because I think every time we do like some really specialized or esoteric area, there's all of these like vocab words, and inevitably some of them are hilarious and or very gay or sexual sounding.
Yeah.
And blacksmithing did not disappoint.
No, those had lots of gay sounding terms for sure.
Okay, you know some gay blacksmiths, or
no.
you found quotes by some?
No, but I read on the internet about some. Yeah,
I think I do actually know one.
You do?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, blacksmith might be a strong word, but one anyway. Go ahead. Sorry.
This is from an essay called "Queer Plus Metals Shaped by Us" by Rebecca Frank. And they interviewed people about their experiences with queerness and metalwork. So it's not just blacksmiths. It included fabricators, silversmiths, jewelers, tool makers, lots of people that work with metal. So Anne Higgins, the first person, said, quote, "I believe that the materiality of hot steel itself reflects my experience of queerness. The facets and marks of construction characteristics of forged objects give simple pieces an underlying complexity that is beautiful. Steel is solid and hard and cold, but there is an internal vibrancy to it, an underlying metamorphic potential for fluidity. Because forging is neither additive nor subtractive process, the volume which is already there must be manipulated and stretched to create new forms."
It's poetic.
Very poetic. I liked the part about like they're simple but underlyingly complex and beautiful. Like that's a nice way to think about queerness. Like
and I kind of like the idea of like being queer is a little bit like being heated up, and you can like shape yourself into something new and different and beautiful.
Yeah. Although I feel like sometimes we like heat ourselves up and shape ourselves into things that society wants us to be rather than what we should be. So there's a little bit of downside to the ability to change shapes. Amparo Pons Grau maybe said, "Metal has the potential to become anything. It will morph and react to every intervention to become sturdy or fragile. If you somehow err in your process, metal can be cut and put back together seamlessly. It can be welded and ground and welded again. It is infinitely forgiving in its prolificness and potential for reuse. There is something in the resilience and transformative capacity of metal that is, at least to me, reminiscent of the queer experience." And here we have something similar of like the transformative nature of metal that reminds them of queerness.
That's super interesting. I don't know how it works, but is it true that you can always reuse a piece of metal? Like I'm under the impression that sometimes when you fuck it up, it's fucked.
Well, then you
That's
can like
the queer
melt.
experience.
You could like melt it back down into metal and reform it again.
Yeah, I don't know if it works that way, but okay.
And the additional thing is just the resilience. There's a resilience that I like, associating with queer people. I think that's very true because of having to deal with whatever our families or society or friends or, people we think care about us say to us. We kind of have to be able to be resilient and continue to be ourselves in spite of what they say to us.
Yeah, for sure.
Katie Ford said, gender and sexual identity for so long have been viewed by society as something rigid and unchanging, cold and unmoving. Most people would look at it and not be able to imagine it any other way than how it is laid before them. This is how metal is viewed by many people. In reality, metal is quite the opposite. Metal is much like queerness. And again, another person that's talking about like metal can actually be shaped. It looks like it's something that is steady and just one thing, but it is not.
Yeah. And straight people, just because you think it looks a certain way that you know all about it, you don't.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And the last one by Marsh Moron. Oops. Metal, especially blacksmithing, has been dominated by cis men for so long that it feels transgressive to be a tiny trans man in this space. Wielding my hammer and my tongs is a radical act of putting myself in a place I don't belong and making it my space.
No.
And I think a lot of, non-cishet people feel that like, this is not a space for me, but I have to just learn to take up my own space and be myself in this space. I think that can be, you don't always have to be marching down the street with a protest sign to like just taking up space as a queer person especially in certain industries. And it seems like this one, then that can be an act of defiance or an act of protest or an act of queerness.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I'll talk about in a little bit, sometimes you can find other queer people that are doing the not queer thing. Like there's a lot of cishet spaces that have a queer analog that, you just have to find them.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes easier said than done. And I get that, but like there's nothing inherently queer about blacksmithing. You could probably find queer blacksmiths. In fact, I know you can. I'm going to talk about some.
In fact, I know specifically of one group that you could find if you really wanted to.
Yeah. Oh, is that now?
That's now. Go for it. Do it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I perfectly timed that segue and then didn't even realize it. Well, such an inclusive group is inclusiveblacksmiths.com. So they are dedicated to creating a space that is inclusive for learning and utilizing the skills of blacksmithing. If you go to their site, there are also under the resources tab. Nope, I lied to you. Yeah, under the resources tab, there's an entry for sibling shops, and you can see if there's one that's closer there, and it names a bunch of shops all over the place and gives the name of the person who's running it and their pronouns and what about them is queer. But I'll just read a little bit from their origin story. So, quote, many folks might not immediately see the connection between forging metal and issues of inclusivity. However, it is clear that the field, just like any ecosystem, will thrive by supporting a broad community of makers. Diversity of perspective is fertile ground for innovation, and it is through both an appreciation of history and an eye towards the future that blacksmithing can be a space of truly unlimited potential. With this in mind, 11 smiths gathered in August of 2018 at the Cascadia Center for Arts and Crafts in Oregon. The goals were a collaborative project for the on-site sculpture garden and conversation around issues of inclusivity in blacksmithing. The event brought women from across the country, ranging in age, experience, and metalworking interests. And there's a bunch of pictures of them of getting started, but they just found a really great experience and community in each other, and this strength in numbers kind of energy. And I think they're really great. And although they are all female presenting in at least the images that I have seen, again, the resources tab has a bunch of sibling shops that you can look at that definitely aren't just lesbians. But it is funny, like when I first picked this up, gross stereotypes, but that's what our show is about. I was like, of course there's a lesbian blacksmithing group.
Yeah. Yeah. And what we've talked about is when there's a masculine stereotype, a straight dude stereotype, then lesbians tend to fall into that stereotype as well. And a lot of times there's some truth behind some of the stereotypes. So it sounds like this is one where the lesbians in a straight male dominated space is true.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're trying to raise money and they're totes adorbs. They have scholarships and grants too that they give, which I think is really fascinating. Just trying to support their own sort of an idea by having resources available, and I think that's magical.
And it seems like the shit would be expensive.
The shit is expensive. Like a forge is expensive, an anvil is expensive, a hammer is expensive. All of the shit is expensive.
Yeah.
And I will also note that almost every picture that I've seen, inclusiveblacksmiths.com included, it's all white people. Like I don't see a lot of blacksmiths of color anywhere. And I wonder if barrier to entry, like cost wise, is part of that.
Interesting. That would make sense.
Yeah.
Well, let's change gears and talk about The Simpsons.
Sure. Yeah. Love them. I don't actually.
I'm going to send you a clip that you have to watch.
Okay.
Hey, listen up. I want all of you to say hello to The Simpsons.
Hello?
Has the whole world gone insane?
Stand still. There's a spark in your hair.
Get it.
Hot stuff coming through.
Dad, why did you bring me to a gay steel mill?
I don't know. This is a nightmare. You're all sick.
Oh, be nice.
Oh, my son doesn't stand a chance. The whole world's gone gay. Oh, my God. What's happening now?
We work hard. We play hard.
Yep. The gay steel mill. My goodness.
So basically, Homer takes Bart to a steel mill to try to show him what a real man's man looks like.
Yeah.
And then it turns out they're all gay stereotypes.
Yeah. Which, so talk about like blacksmith themed gay bars. In the Patreon segment, I'm going to talk about Cafe Lafitte in Exile, a big old story about that in New Orleans. But this gay steel mill thing, is Homer always homophobic?
I don't know.
Because he's like, you're sick. And that's not a thing that we say anymore.
Yeah, his reaction was very homophobic. He was like, where are all the real men at? And this is disgusting. Like he was horrified by seeing them all be super gay.
Yeah.
And first of all, there's clearly something about this. Like there's something gay about blacksmiths. Like there's something to it, because even the Simpsons were making jokes about people working in the steel mill being all gay.
Yeah. Well, and the sign that came out of the ceiling when the dance started was the Anvil, right? Which is a perfect name for a gay bar. It probably already exists.
Probably, yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of examples of just any sort of industrial theme being something that is just makes sense for the gay community.
Yeah.
Like in Seattle, we have Diesel. That's a bar for bears, and that's at least ostensibly about the diesel fuel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of any other like examples off the top of my head, but there's for sure like industrial themed bars all over the place that like there's something about it that just makes sense. It's that rugged masculinity. They must also be annealing each other.
Yeah. I also see this clip and think about, like, I watched The Simpsons growing up, and I don't remember, particular episodes or like homophobic things that I saw in it. I just know that every Sunday my family would watch The Simpsons together, and to have seen this would have just been one more probably societal reminder that being gay was not okay.
Yeah.
And that the expected reaction to a bunch of gays is horrified.
Yeah.
Like, that's an okay reaction.
Do you know what year that episode came out?
No, I don't.
Oh. I mean, The Simpsons has been on the air for 74 years.
Yeah. So I just wonder how much this affected me or contributed to my own internalized homophobia and my unwillingness to come out until college.
Do you still watch The Simpsons?
No, I don't.
When did you stop?
When I went to college.
Oh, okay. It was a thing your family did.
Yeah. Yeah.
There wasn't a reason, though. It's not like they pissed you off with some other gay.
Oh,
something.
no. I just went to college and started watching reality TV like Bravo.
The reason I ask is because I would be very surprised if this wasn't a very old episode and if they haven't sort of cleaned their act up with the times. Because when a show is that old, stuff doesn't age well, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I can't imagine them still being on the air and saying those things.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that this looks like it's an older episode.
Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah.
Do you remember any other gay episodes?
There's one about Smith. I mean, the joke was always that Mr. Burns' assistant Smithers was gay.
Mm.
And
gay for Mr. Burns, or oh, okay.
And I think there was actually a gay episode of The Simpsons that they talked about on Gayest Episode Ever, I believe.
Okay.
So you should go listen. I think that's the name of the podcast we were on. Yeah, Gayest Episode Ever. Yeah. But should I do this Ask Reddit?
Oh, well, I can talk briefly about this boy that I found.
Oh, okay.
So I found it's at the Femboy Forge, and this is from his profile on X. It says male, 24, he/she ... whatever. It says 6'6", a Scottish femboy blacksmith astrophotographer. I make swords and take pictures of space. Screw gender norms. And the pinned to the top of that is him in, what are the socks that you wear on your arms called?
Gloves?
This is my straightest of all time. No, it doesn't have fingers. It's just they're gloves without hands. He's wearing gloves without hands, a tunic of some kind, a red skirt and high stockings, and is hammering away at some like sword knife thing that he's making and twirling.
I love this.
And I looked through trying to figure out what it's all about, and I spent an embarrassing amount of time, I think, trying to figure him out when I don't need to. You know what I mean? I was like,
what more do you want to figure out? He said it all.
Well, yeah, but like, I just was being very Eastern Washington about it. I was like, because the other thing is, there's like, it's not hard to find. His YouTube channel has like videos of him from not too many years ago where he is not presenting femme at all. So to see that, and so for him to go like pretty mask looking, a little androgynous, but pretty mask looking, and to get involved in blacksmithing and then decide, no, I'm a femboy, but this blacksmithing thing is going to stay. I was just really interested in that. I don't know. I don't know his sexuality at all, but I do know that there's a picture on X where he says that it's bisexual lighting. And I don't know if there's something specific about the lighting that's bisexual, or if it's just he's a bisexual and is lit, so it's bisexual lighting.
Yeah.
What's really interesting to me about this person, though, is apparently people are super into it. Like, he has posted a few times lamenting that people are seem only interested in his material when he shows some thigh or when he's wearing a crop top, and not when he's like making some intricate, delicate, hard to make blacksmith accomplishment.
Yeah, I mean, that's the internet. People care more about it if you show some skin, if you have a face, if you have a human attached to it. Like, that sucks, but that's the internet.
Yeah. I absolutely agree. And I think Scotland, that's got to be a rough place to be this person. Like, just based on my few experiences with Scotland and sort of the stereotypes about Scotland, it's a very sort of rugged mask for mask vibe in a lot of ways. And so for this person to be ostensibly in a community that is cishet dudes, I imagine they feel pretty lonely.
Yeah.
Anyway, check them out. I think he's adorable, and it is some fun content. Here's a picture of him taking a nap with a sword in a skirt. But yeah, also he reposted a thing where somebody said, this is a picture of my grandma's titanium hip after she was cremated. And somebody said, you should make it a shift knob for your car. Would that be metal as fuck?
Damn, Grandma.
Yeah.
You became my car. You're like Knight Rider.
You're with me forever. Anyway, that's Femboy Blacksmithing. Check him out.
Oh. One last thing for us to talk about is Ask Reddit.
Let's ask Reddit.
And this was a post to blacksmithing by someone named Jisrob.
r/blacksmithing?
Yeah.
Great. Sure.
And they asked, is forging/blacksmithing popular in the gay community? The description was super confused, or is it just my town? Super confused.
Oh, okay.
So the responses, there was a bunch of responses that I hated. It's an art, so it doesn't matter. And someone else said, blacksmithing is blacksmithing. There's absolutely no reason to bring up who you like to screw unless you're looking for drama.
Okay, shut up.
Which,
Blow
no.
it out your ass.
There's reasons, like, there's reasons to want to know these things. This is like the premise of our podcast is we're curious about why things are gay or how things are, or if they are, or if it's true and all that stuff. So like, I think there's plenty of reasons to ask this question. So, if you skip all of those kinds of responses, another one said, I am a queer person who smiths. Excellent that there is a community near you that is inclusive. A lot of the time, the default type of smith are cis hetero men. Mm-hmm. When they gather, they are often not too nice to us queers or women. I happen to be a queer woman. Anyhow, in large metropolitan areas, you are more likely to find inclusive smiths. And if you are looking for resources, there's a Society of Inclusive Smiths with a nice directory, which we talked about.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that another queer woman is bringing up this inclusive blacksmith thing, but also that the default is cis hetero men. This does seem to be a space dominated by cis hetero men. Someone else said, I mean, I'm gay and into it, but haven't noticed it being disproportionately gay. Someone else said, most smiths I know are straight, but working in a forge with well-built guys with a scent of sweat may turn some men on. And I think they're onto something.
Maybe. For some.
And then someone else lastly said, maybe there could be a slight tendency for more gay people to be into blacksmithing since they are somewhat more likely to not have children and so have more time and money to invest in hobbies.
Yeah, I think that one holds a little bit of water, I think.
That's the first one that was like trying to actually analyze and critically come to a decision about whether it might be more gay. Maybe there's something to that. Maybe we do have more time to invest in our hobbies since we're less likely to have kids.
Well, and all that shit's expensive, and so it's probably white dude gay.
Yeah.
It's just, that's just how it is, or true. Whether it should be or not is a different story.
Yeah, for sure.
I also wonder if there's like an attraction to, like, is there a little bit of mask for mask in there? Like gay rugby players or like gay fishermen. No, I don't know why I said that one. But
or like we're into porn where like there's a straight dude that like gay dude falls for the straight dude, and this is like us falling for Blacksmiths. Like,
yeah,
it's the same kind of energy as falling for a straight dude, like being into the straight college jock, being into like the cis straight guy that you can't have, but somehow we're really fascinated by.
Yeah, for sure. Did we do it?
We talked about them for a bit. There's more gay stuff that I found that during this that than I expected to. So there's something gay about them. There is some kind of stereotype about them being gay, but they seem to be predominantly cis straight men.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the verdict I'm coming to.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think it's homoerotic, and we've seen several times on the show before that homoerotic doesn't necessarily mean gay. It just can fuel rumors of being gay and sometimes fantasies of gays, but that doesn't mean it is in and of itself gay, right?
Yeah. Homoerotic. That's that's the perfect note to describe the feeling behind this.
Yeah. So should we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Let's take a break and make some horseshoes.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
Okay, are we back?
We're back.
We're back. Well,
we're going to do our gays and... What?
Half of us are back.
You're not back? You're not really with us?
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
We're going to do our gayest and straightest.
We're going to do our gayest and straightest, but first, our website is... Oh, wait. Hey, Kyle.
Hey, Mike.
Guess what?
What?
The Dickbag Fuckface Asshole Award votes are happening now.
Ooh, yeah, you need to go vote now.
Yeah. Go to Facebook and vote for them.
Yeah, go to the Facebook group at facebook.com/group/gayish podcast and join the group. And there it's pinned to the top, right?
Yes.
It's pinned to the top. You can vote on all the various people that Mike has put up for nomination for Dickbag Fuckface Asshole of the Year.
Until Sunday.
You have until this Sunday.
We're shutting it down on Sunday.
Okay.
Mama's got some awards to order.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are we actually going to send it to whoever wins again?
I don't know.
Okay. We'll have to decide. I guess we'll have to see who it is.
I mean, probably going to start an international incident based on the trend lines, but whatever. Hey, do that, please. Our website is gayishpodcast.com.
We are on socials at Gayish Podcast.
Our hotline, you can send us text messages or leave us voicemails. Hey, send us your gayest and straightest, please. Yeah. We're out of them and we like them.
Yeah.
It's 585-5-GAYISH. That's 585-542-9474. Standard rates apply.
Our email is gayishpodcast@gmail.com.
And our physical mailing address is Post Office Box 19882, Seattle, Washington, 98109. Okay, Kyle.
Gayest and straightest?
We're in the home stretch now. I think I can do it.
Okay.
I'll go first.
Okay, go.
Gayest and straightest. So the gayest thing about me this week was laying in bed, and I wasn't even horny. I was just like bored and opened up Pornhub or whatever the fuck on my phone. And my phone, some twink was getting railed or something. I don't know. And it goes, oh. And that's when I hear hello, because the painter had let herself in to finish doing touch-up work down here in the studio. I totally got caught watching porn by the contractor. So,
are they supposed to let themselves in like that?
I mean, that's the arrangement.
Oh, okay. Then that was your fault.
That was my fault.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as it can be fault. She should be so lucky. She's welcome. And the straightest thing about me this week is like just being in total denial that I'm sick. Like I even saw you this weekend and I was like, I'm not sick. I'm just going to go do my life. And then I was like, Kyle, I'm leaving. It was bad.
Yeah.
It's still not great. But I've been like, I feel like it's a straight guy thing to be just like, unless they're like actively bleeding, they're in denial about being ill.
Yeah. They don't acknowledge any kind of afflictions they have whatsoever.
Yeah. How about you?
What about me? My straightest is going to a car showroom. That was where our year-end party was, at this like car showroom space that I don't know.
I think I'm straight now just hearing that.
I know, right? Well, my gayest is being at a car showroom and not caring about all the classic cars that were there. Surely there are people that were like excited and inspired and, you know, we're so glad we were there, but I don't know.
Some of them were probably cool.
Some of them were probably cool. I was highly indifferent. I didn't know whether this was gay or straight. I drank Red Bull and vodka, which I associate with like college frat guys. So I associate it as a straight thing, but other people told me it was a gay thing.
I think sugar-free Red Bull vodka is for sure gay.
Oh, very true. That's a good distinction.
Vodka Red Bull, I agree, is a straight frat bro thing.
Okay.
Which, you know, straight is in quotes there.
Yep. We have a listener's gayest and straightest. This is Sebastian from Colorado.
Sebastian.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Kyle. This is Sebastian from Colorado. Calling in with my gayest and straightest. Long-time fan, first-time caller. But I'll start with my straightest. I guess my straightest would probably be hanging out at the bar, watching the football game, because I do a sports betting podcast and hopefully I'll win my bets. But also at the same time, my gayish is sitting at the bar waiting for this cute guy to text me back. You guys are awesome. Love the show. Y'all have a good Sunday. Bye.
Mm-hmm.
Doing a sports betting podcast is the straightest thing I've heard.
Yeah. I mean, podcasting is straight enough as it is.
Yeah. But then I hope the cute guy calls.
This one was old. We've had this one for a while. So like we should know there should be an answer. There should be a follow-up. Yeah. Let us know.
Yeah. Let us know, or text it. Let us know if the cute guy texts you back.
Well, thank you to Blacksmiths everywhere for being sweaty and pounding all the things.
And having some gay-ass terminology that we could make fun of.
Yeah, for sure.
And the inclusive Blacksmiths.
Yeah, thanks
to
lesbians for making everything better.
Yeah. And thank you to our super gap bridgers. Thank you to Locomotives, Simon Srirachi. I still should learn how to say that. Srirachi. Kaylee Adams, Kit Oliver, Kobe Gordon, Squaggle, Pip, Andrew Bugby, William Bryant, John Crowley, Yost Osel, Jonathan Montanius, Forrest Nail, Steve Douglas, Explosive Lasagna, Michael Covington, Just Jamie, Thomas B, Dusty Sands, A. Holman, Chris Cacciatorians, and Jerome York. Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your money. That's it from the Chris Cacciatorian Studios. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz. Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you. See ya.
See ya. God damn it, Kyle.
Are you going to make it?
Yeah, I'm going to make it. Everything's great.